Hey there, guys. Welcome to another action figure review. And may the 4th be with you. And I can't find a much better way to commemorate the occasion than to pour myself a nice, cool glass of blue milk. Of course, I had to use a Maul cup. This is a Hispanic household, so of course I had to use a Maul cup. I tried to recreate that scene from Last Jedi with fucking Luke. I can't even do it. I can't do it. Mm. All right. Anyways, moving on. Mm. The blue milk is delicious, by the way. I highly recommend it. So, anyways, so of course, today the theme is going to be Star Wars for these action figure reviews, and I actually had a little subtitle for it. I like to call it Heaven and Hell. You don't believe in heaven because you're living in hell. But yeah, so we're going to review 2 3 3/4 figures from the Star Wars Vintage Collection. Of course, it's Padme Amidala and Maul, or Darth Maul. Of course, they're numbered VC 383 and VC 201 respectively, meaning that this Darth Maul has been made, and it's just printed on a different card, one that's actually going to commemorate the show that's currently out. I actually haven't seen the show, by the way. I haven't seen the show. I've actually been waiting for it to end so I could like binge watch it. And so yeah, and the series finale is on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. So anyways, yeah, little background info. Of course, we all know Star Wars figures before Black Series and the 6-inch line. They were always 3 3/4, 1/18 scale. They used to call that the playset scale because the thing about like the line is that they always intended for the vehicles to be like the selling point of the line, and so you needed to have the vehicles be a certain size that would still be like affordable even back in the late 70s. You still needed it to be affordable, so you couldn't have like huge like Mego sized action figures inside the vehicle, and so they scaled them down. In order to fit the play sets, in order to fit the action figures. So the intention was always for pretty much like the companies, Kenner at the time, to sell vehicles, and the figures were kind of like, yeah, I mean, the figures were obviously essential as well, but it was all about really like selling the play sets and the action figures, which is kind of like it's kind of inverted now. Nowadays, it's all about the figures, and of course, the scale is much larger. And while you do see play sets and vehicles be produced, Star Wars had that TIE Fighter released a while, like around the time of Force Awakens, and even GI Joe Classifieds, like they'll still do those what are they called, like the Kickstarters, the HasLabs for like vehicles. You do see them, like you won't see them in retail stores pretty much anymore, and they take up a lot of retail space. Like in order to make vehicles in 1/12 scale, they had to be huge. They had to be like the size of like TV sets, so those days are long gone in which you could just walk the aisles at a toy shop. I mean, toy shops don't even exist for the most part anymore, and just see like a whole wall of like figures and play sets and figurines of a certain line. Nowadays, in like big box retailers, you're lucky to have one of the aisles just dedicated to action figures. And back in the day, it would be like half of an aisle would be dedicated to Star Wars onto itself, and it would just be jam packed with figures. On a side note, now that I brought up GI Joe, it's crazy that while I don't know if Star Wars were really the first 1/18 scale 3 3/4 lines, like this scale, without them, you pretty much wouldn't have GI Joe Real American Hero line. That would not exist, you know. And it's just crazy to think like how much and how influential the Star Wars action figure line was. I don't think they really. I think they showed the viability of a franchise. Like pretty much, I what I'm trying to say is that without this line, I don't think you'd see action figures for movies, like, you know, like how NECA just seems to be doing like stuff for, oh man, it's not shown on scale, but I have a figure of McCready from The Thing up there, and it's like, or Jurassic Park, you know, it's like the Jurassic Park line wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the Star Wars line, pretty much, because once again, Jurassic Park 3 3/4 figure, at least the original 90s one is like 3 3/4 figures. And what was the figures really there for? It was to sell you the play sets, the vehicles, and especially the dinosaurs. That's what Jurassic Park was there for. So yeah, so without 3 3/4 figures, you know, we wouldn't have, of course, my much beloved Fortnite line, which I will tout it to the heavens nonstop. That Fortnite line is excellent. Yeah, so I wish they would continue on, because I actually do like some of the newer skins that are out. I think for now Jazzwares is just gonna keep reprinting like the glory days of Fortnite, or that, at least that's what the kids are saying. But I kind of do wish they would have made like some of the newer skins that are out. You know, not so much like just some of their original creations. A lot of them are they're pretty cool. So that's just me. But that does it for background info. Let's move on. We're gonna see my favorite character of episode 1 and my favorite character of episode 2. Anyways, all right. So I think I mean, this guy's already open. So when I bought him, like, the card was already damaged. So that's the reason why I purchased it. Because if I would have purchased it and it would have been in a pristine card, I probably would have kept them in the packaging. But I'm like, hey, he's already damaged. I asked for a discount for him. I ended up getting a discount for the Darth Maul. So hey, it ended up working out. It ended up working out in the end, and so I can't really complain. And as I previously explained, retro card vintage collection. So pretty much, vintage collection is pretty much a continuation of, like, I want to say it's kind of like the optimization of 3 3/4 line. So you get like hyper articulated figures, something akin to like the GI Joe 25th anniversary or Marvel Universe. So they're hyper articulated. They're not 5 POA type of figures. And it's a fantastic line. The fact that they made like close to like 300, 400 figures just shows you how great and marketable the line has been. I have a whole book on just the vintage collection, not even counting, like, you know, retro collection, or what, I forget what they call it, or just like the classic Star Wars, you know, Power of the Force, Power of the Jedi, blah blah blah, Power of the Jedi 2, I should say. Yeah, it's marketable. And this Darth Maul figure, of course, it's based off the Clone Wars version of Darth Maul. I think that's the original card that he was printed on. It was like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and they just decided to update it to Maul Shadow Lord, the show that is currently out. It looks pretty excellent, and yeah, it seems to really fit him pretty well. So glad that they were able to reuse it and just re-release the figure and make it much easier for us to get them. And there's the back of the figure. And of course it says, Maul, after the events of the Clone Wars, Maul plots to rebuild his criminal syndicate on a planet untouched by the Empire. Tras los eventos de la Guerra de los Clones, Maul trama la reconstrucción de su sindicato criminal en un planeta no invadido por el Imperio. All right, so there you go. You got the background info, and now I'm gonna open it. And it's such a relief. Such a relief that they're so small. I could be able to handle them much better. All right. And there you go. So Maul is just gonna come like that, and of course with the two lightsabers, which of course connect into his very, very recognizable double edge lightsaber there. Oh, it's so awesome. I'm actually a big fan of the double edge, of the double-sided lightsaber. I would actually like to own like a real scale replica of it, not just like a toy lightsaber, of it. Like I would actually, well, not a real one, I mean, it would be cool to own a real one and like just, cut up my sandwiches that way or something, but no, yeah, so there you go. This is Darth Maul. And despite him being real small, I do like the detailing on the figure. That is pretty excellent paint job. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. And articulation wise, he's gonna have pretty much everything you would expect a 6-inch figure to have. Seems to be double joint. Yeah, it seems to be double jointed. What? Wow. Double jointed. You know what? A second thought, I think he might be single. This confused me because this looked like, yeah, this confused me. So I think it's more closer to like a single joint on the knees, and I think even here it's probably a single joint as well. But of course, it lends itself to some good range of motion right there because it's the forearm twist, no bicep cut, wrist cut, hinge. Let's see, torso articulation. Can crunch a bit, but of course his tunic gets in the way, but can crunch back pretty well. Can look up pretty well. Look down decently. Not exactly the best, to be honest. Can do the splits pretty well. Does have a thigh cut. And does have a knee cut as well. So that's an added bonus, I would say. Yeah, I thought it was a double jointed, but it's more of a single jointed knee. And of course a hinge on the foot and an ankle rocker. And that does it for Maul. And great figure. Personally, since I got him off of a discount, I am gonna add him like a half point to him. I would have probably given him like a 7.5, just because he's not double jointed. But I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10 just based off the price point that I actually got him for. So there you go. That closes the hell portion of this review, and now we're going towards the heavenly portion. And of course, it's the brave Padme Amidala fought for peace as Senator of Naboo, but her forbidden marriage to Anakin Skywalker would prove to have dire consequences for the galaxy. La valiente Padme Amidala luchó por la paz como senadora de Naboo, pero su matrimonio prohibido, amor prohibido, con Anakin Skywalker traería nefastas consecuencias para la galaxia. So yeah, great packaging. I honestly think this is probably like, if I remember, if I remember hearing this correctly, like it took a long time for them to actually make a Padme vintage collection figure. Like not even like Queen Amidala, like just in general, like a Padme figure. That's insane. And oh man, those blasters are super tiny. I am not even gonna get them out. But I'm glad that they're there. And let's see the nice detailing, nice paint job on them. But I ain't gonna get them out of it. If I drop one, it'll probably drop into my glass of blue milk, and then I won't be able to find it anymore. So, anyways, but let's get the figure out. And it's a textured plastic, so this isn't a cloth good. The cape, it's just like textured. And is it removable? Yeah, it could actually be. I think it could easily be removable if you wanted to do that. If you know, you could probably remove it like hassle-free. But I'm not gonna do that. She can look up pretty well. Look down. I think she looks down much better than Darth Maul. And let's see. So the cloak. Okay, T-pose. Great articulation and yeah, elbow cut. See, there's great range of motion. I think they're single jointed, but they have great range of motion. The elbows, wrist. I don't think she has a hinge though, so it's just wrist rotation. And I'm having trouble finding the hinge, and I don't want to break her. I don't want to break her hand. She's gone through enough already. With Anakin. Oh, she actually has holsters for her pistols. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. That's cool. All right. Thigh cut. Once again, like a single jointed knee. No boot cut. No boot cut. So, oh wait, yeah. What the heck? Oh yeah. What? That is so weird. So I guess when it was folded, I couldn't turn it. Yeah, see, if it's folded, you can't turn it. You can't turn it at all. But if it's like that, you could. Whoa, that is so weird. Great, great ingenuity. Hinge on the foot, ankle rocker. And let's see. Yeah. Yeah, very good likeness if I do say so myself. All right. So, I actually really like the figure. The fact that she has holsters for these blasters right there, it's actually pretty great. And I do like the paint job and detailing, especially on the face. Wow, they did a bang up job on that face right there. I'm very impressed. 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10 figure. And so, guys, that does it for this May the 4th review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until then, May the 4th be with you. But of course, you must beware, because the next day is Revenge of the 5th. Alright, anyways, guys, thanks for watching this review. And I'll be sure to make more videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And thanks. Laters.